you are tuning in from. My name is Annie. I'm the events coordinator at Majors and Quinn Booksellers, which is an independent bookstore in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And we're here today with another wonderful virtual author event for you. Tonight, we're very pleased to have Kristi Nelson, author of the book Wake Up Grateful, The Transformative Practice of Taking Nothing for Granted. She's going to talk about that book tonight, and you'll get to hear a little bit from the book, and then we'll do a little question and answer. I'll be asking some questions after the reading, but also please, if you are watching and you have questions, please type them in the comments underneath the video. Wherever you're watching, we will see them, and we would love to hear your thoughts and your questions about the reading. So at any time you can type those in, but we will also remind you later on in the event once the reading is over. I'd like to remind you that you can purchase Wake Up Grateful at majorsandquinn.com. I will drop the link for that item into the comments under the video as well, so you can head straight there, or you can just go to majorsandquinn.com and search for the title or author, and it will be there. So once again, thank you for tuning in. I would like to introduce our speaker today. Kristi Nelson is the executive director of a network for grateful living. She has a master's degree in public administration from the Harvard Kennedy School and has spent more than 30 years in nonprofit leadership, development, and consulting. She's worked at the Center for Mindfulness in Medicine, Kripalu Center for Yoga and Health, and the Soul of Money Institute. Kristi is a stage 4 cancer survivor who cherishes living among friends and family in Western Massachusetts. Kristi, we're so happy to have you here today, and please fire away with the reading. Thank you so much.
Hey, so I'm so grateful to Annie and to Majors and Quinn for this event, and I want to be really transparent with everybody, which would ask me to say to you that this is my very first bookstore event. So I've never done an author event. I'm a first-time author. This is my first book. And this is my first bookstore. So I'm so happy it's Majors and Quinn, such a great place in Minneapolis, and that people can join us from all over the place is also amazing. So how incredible is it to be able to be virtual and to have people join us from everywhere? So thank you for being here. And I hope we can spend this time together more in a conversation than me just presenting. So I really thrive in conversations, and I would love to entertain any questions that you have. I'm going to do a little bit of reading and also get to have some conversations with Annie and talk to you a little bit about why I wrote this book and what I hope this book serves in the world. So I'm super honored to be here and humbled, and I'm just going to take a deep breath and invite you all to join me, because why not? And we'll get to the part towards the end of this little talk where we recognize that the breath is one of the greatest privileges in the world. So if we can just all just take one breath together, just an inhale and an exhale with huge appreciation for all of what it is that got you here to this moment that allows us to be together in this space and time. How extraordinary it all is. So yes, this is this book that I wrote. Here's the beautiful cover. It's a really lovely book. It's gorgeous. And I'm really honored to have worked with Story Publishing on this, which I just want to say their values are so awesome, and they're such an independent bookstore loving publisher. So I feel really happy about that, because our organizational values are really in line with that. So it's a beautiful book, and I'm going to do a little reading from it without the cover on it here and just start out. So I'm going to start with the introduction. I was going to start with the epilogue and end with the introduction, but I thought this might be a little bit more appropriate to go in this order of things. So this is the introduction, which is called Alive and Grateful. Not dying changed everything. Not only did I not die, I actually got to live. And living offered me the chance to bring the most meaningful lessons I learned from facing death into my life and the lives of many others. What I've come to understand about taking nothing for granted has transformed my life. My hope is that it will transform yours too. At 33 years old, I was diagnosed with stage 4 Hodgkin's lymphoma that had metastasized to my spine. After going through 18 months of hospitalizations, surgeries, chemotherapy, and treatments, I asked my oncologist, when will I be out of the woods? He answered, you will never be out of the woods. Having worked so hard to stay alive, I had not fully grasped the degree of uncertainty and struggle that would come with being a survivor. Understanding that my life would only ever be lived with a caveat of for now was sobering. I wondered so many things. How do I continue to live this way? What am I able to count on? How can I possibly plan for the future? How do I live while expecting to die? The first few years of uncertainty and remission put the blessings of my life in sharp relief. I was in super soak mode. That's what I like to call it. Every experience was saturated with new meaning, and I was absorbing it all fully. I did not know any other way to live the moments I had than to greet each one as gratefully as I could. Not sure how much more time was mine, I was awestruck by every moment, every person, and everything. Being grateful the first few years was relatively easy and revelatory. I would wake up in a room bathed in light, hear birds singing, and notice I was still breathing. Sometimes I would have to touch my face to make sure it was not a dream. I could put both feet on the floor and walk freely to a kitchen where I could make a cup of tea. It was enough to make me start each day with tears of joy. Being alive was enough. But over time, all those amazing reasons to feel grateful joined the ranks of the taken for granted. I got healthy and busy. I began chasing goals and the fulfillment they promised. I martyred myself to a job, complained about things like traffic, my weight, and colds. I ruthlessly compared myself to others, succumbed to retail therapy and debt, and suffered from stress. Each year that passed, I built up a kind of gratitude tolerance. What used to be enough got left in the dust in the pursuit of having more. Having cheated death, I began cheating life. After some challenging years, dramatic wake-up calls, and my share of spiritual suffering, I came to realize that maintaining a grateful perspective is a true practice. Just as it takes commitment to keep a muscle strong, the same is true of perspective. This capacity for grateful perspective is a muscle I needed to build and use, and it is still something I need to nurture and tend daily. I am the first to admit that I can lose perspective quite easily, so I work at it every day. But the practice of looking at the world through grateful eyes and with a grateful heart is an exquisite end in itself. I know it matters, and the results are worth everything. Grateful living has become my way of life. It helps me focus on what is working and what is enough. It helps me notice all that is beautiful and breathtaking. Even in the most challenging times, from a grateful perspective, I can see that there is an opportunity to learn, to deepen trust, to love, and to breathe. Fixing my awareness on what is available and possible in each moment, what is sufficient and sacred, I am less inclined to take life for granted. I'm often filled to overflowing because of this, and it moves me to want to make a difference for others. Grateful living reconnects me with a fidelity to life. And this fidelity reminds me what a gift it is to be alive, and that it could always and will someday be otherwise. So that's the first short section of the introduction. And I want to say that that line that I started with was really important. Not dying changed everything. And what I realized is that every day that I didn't die, I forgot that it changes everything and that it still does every single day. And that I could be really awake to what matters to me, because, put my little notes here, because I didn't need a wake-up call. So I really consider these kinds of massive experiences like cancer and terrible accidents and illness and everything to be wake-up calls. And life delivers wake-up calls in many forms, and they're often really difficult and can be somewhat tragic. We lose people we love. We have tremendous climate change and all the incredible natural disasters and fires that come out of those things. Those are wake-up calls, like waking us up to what really matters. And we can have an accident, or we can break an arm or a leg, and it wakes us up to how much we can appreciate what we have. But it's often in that place of almost losing it or losing it that we become awake. And those wake-up calls serve that purpose. So I came out of this experience knowing that I was taking life for granted every day. I didn't feel this extraordinary feeling that was, I didn't die, I'm alive, here I am. And Maya Angelou has a beautiful quote, which is, this is a wonderful day. I've never seen this one before. That's an invitation to wake up and just say, oh my gosh, every single day is this extraordinary opportunity and gift. And yet we live in kind of a half sleep state so much of the time. We're in a trance. We often want more. We want something different. We're so easily in complaint. We're so easily in comparison. We're so easily in a place of scarcity, or looking at what isn't working in our lives. And we wake up in the morning and the first thing we think is, oh my gosh, I didn't sleep enough. And now I don't have enough time, and I don't have enough energy, and I don't have enough of everything. And so that scarcity can be really pervasive in our lives, and it keeps us from treasuring the gift that each day is. So I really wanted to figure out how I could remember those feelings that I had when I first came out of that cancer experience, which were so extraordinary, and my life was so acute and so meaningful to me. I was really in touch with how much every moment mattered, how much every person mattered, how much everything mattered. And I see it happen often in people who are facing those kinds of mortality issues, keeping death before their eyes, as the Benedictines say, that it helps wake us up to this awareness of, in our mortality, how much more fully alive we can become when we have that awareness in our consciousness. And so I worked for hospice for a period of time when I came out of this experience, and I write about it in the book. And one of the things that is so clear is that people who end up in hospice, priorities really clarify themselves often. The heart gets bigger and wants to express itself more. The treasuring of life in every moment becomes much more vivid. And my dream is that I don't have to, and you don't have to, and we don't have to come that close to loss in order to treasure what we have. And so this book is really a testament to that. It's a guidebook. I wrote this because I really wanted to deconstruct and articulate and explain how it is that we could get to a place of that vivid treasuring and savoring of life and celebrating of it, that didn't require us to actually almost lose everything that matters to us in order to get in touch with that. So part of the pathway is really this incredible practice that Brother David Steindl-Rast, who founded our organization, he was, still is, a Benedictine monk. He's 94 years old. And he basically says, when people ask him, I remember watching him on Oprah Winfrey, and Oprah asked him, so how do you practice grateful living? Which is what I was so excited to learn was really the way to capture what I felt in those first months and periods of time after going through all the cancer treatment was I was living gratefully every moment. And he really brought forward this whole way of living gratefully can be available to us all the time. Grateful living is this practice. And this is what the book is about. And Brother David says when Oprah asked him, how do you practice grateful living? And he says, you stop, you look, and you go. And I thought that is amazing. And it's so simple. And how can I take that practice and really weave it tightly together with a bunch of ways that people can actually bring daily questions, daily reflections, daily practices, moment to moment awareness. How can we root it in principles and journal prompts and quotes that inspire us and poetry that moves us? So this book is filled with, I think, a lot of inspiration and a lot of guidance for how to live life gratefully, how to really recognize the treasure that we have, and how to see the ordinary as extraordinary. And this is really the pathway, is everything becomes quite extraordinary when we wake up and when we're really fully awake. And how can we live in that state and perpetuate that state much more consistently? And it is a practice in every moment of really seeing the abundance in the simple and seeing the extraordinary in the ordinary, and not taking anything for granted, because every single day is this unpromised treasure. We have no idea how long we're going to live. So this work is extremely important, and it's a practice that thousands and thousands and thousands of people around the world are committing themselves to living more gratefully, knowing that it's a way that can help us really sustain our world, deepen our relationships, solve a lot of our social problems, deepen our relationship with ourselves, and help us treasure every moment of the lives we've been given. So there's a movement afoot, actually, I would say, of people who are committed to living gratefully. And we tend those people and support those people through a network for grateful living. And our website is gratefulness.org. And so I wanted to bring something that could be a tangible, something you could really hold, something you could turn back to every day. And this is a guidebook. It's truly a guidebook. And what I've heard from people since I wrote the book is that it's something to really be savored, the book itself, that there's a density to it, that there's, it's a book you want to keep by your bedside table. A few people said that in the endorsements that I got. And to continually turn to it and return to it, to help you remember that just the gift of even your breath is a privilege that not everyone right now can enjoy. And there's nothing like this moment in time where so many people in our society right now feel the absence of the capacity to fully breathe. And so to not take the gifts for granted that we have is to really respect them and respect their sources and recognize that it's really an affront to the privilege, all the privileges that we have, to disregard those and to take them for granted, and to really experience the deep gratefulness of heart for what we have is the way that we honor and have reverence, and especially recognizing that so many people lose so much right now and are doing without so much in this pandemic, in all the different pandemics that we're currently facing. So I'm going to read a little bit more. I'm just going to read the epilogue, a little bit of the epilogue. When I completed cancer treatments in 1993, I could not write anything at all for a long time. Chemotherapy had caused peripheral neuropathy, which kept me from being able to type or hold a pen with ease, and I suffered the residual blur of chemo brain. But none of that is what actually kept me from writing. I could not write because I did not want to spend a single moment unavailable to my life as it was unfolding. I had been awakened to see each day as a blessing, and my heart had been open to the brevity of time. I did not want to squander any of my life with an absence of attention to my immediate experiences, loved ones, the beauty around me. Even though many people encouraged me to pick up my old writing practice or to document my survivor story for the benefit of others, I simply could not bring myself to sit and try to capture anything in words. Life itself wanted to keep me busy, calling me loudly at all hours to behold a canopy of stars, a full moon, chase sunlight, tend to my body and heart, or revel in the proximity of love in its many forms. For years, writing felt like it stole me from life, pulling me out of experiencing my moments in lieu of thinking and theorizing about them. And in many ways, it still does. When I wake up to each new day now, I am surely grateful. And to be honest, urgency and intensity are awakened in me as well. I wonder how to act on the fact that life is so beautiful and also so finite. What do I do with the gift of this moment? How do I invest in even the near future, knowing that the future itself is unpromised? Aware that my life is precious, how do I make sense of spending countless hours each day sitting at a computer? It can be a recurring conundrum for me, and reconciling my choices is often a wildly inelegant dance. But being fully awake to conundrums is the price of admission to a conscious life, and it is worth everything it takes for me to fumble my way through figuring it out, because this is my perfectly imperfect practice of grateful living. From the beginning, writing this book felt more like a soul assignment than a decision. This was fortunate, as I would have sidelined myself a million times for anything less than a burning mandate from the universe. These words mark the end point of an effort that took more resolve than I imagined I was capable of mastering. Like a pilgrimage, the book took me on an arduous journey away from the pull of my day-to-day life and asked me to focus intently on a commitment to completion, no matter what. I can now attest to the fact that in the midst of it, something profound in me changed. Holding fast to gratefulness, my trust in life was tested and deepened. I came to reconcile the needs of this moment with those of a tomorrow worth investing and believing in. For someone who has lived acutely for a long time, dancing with life on the head of a pin, so to speak, this journey turned out to be more trying and also more healing than I ever imagined. So I just want to end by saying, and then Annie's going to come back on, I want to end by saying that my real hopes for this book, my hopes are deep, and they are really about wanting for all of us to be able to experience that fullness of life and that fullness of heart that's available to us in every moment, without needing to lose or almost lose what we treasure to become awake to those things. And the book was really written as a source of perspective enhancement to help us deepen perspective and maintain perspective and share perspective with each other, recognizing that this is really a centerpiece of living a more grateful life. And also, when we live this way, my hope is that the generosity and the compassion and empathy, the love and concern for our fellow humans, for the creatures of the earth, for the earth itself, that this awakening to what matters most to us, wake-up calls remind us what matters most to us. If we can remember and be awake to what matters most to us in every moment, then we turn ourselves over so much more readily and so much more generously to the benefit of others, to the benefit of life. It's not a self-satisfying place that we hang out when we live gratefully. It actually wants to, this gratefulness, it wants to come alive in the world. It wants to make a difference. It wants to love. It wants to bring peace and justice. It's a concerned place, and it's a place that can really help to bring needed healing and attention to our world as we're facing it right now. So those are some of my hopes. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. I hope to get to have more conversation. I hope it's been a coherent journey that you've been on with me and has given you some sense about what the book is, a little bit more of who I am as an author, and a little bit more of my author's journey. So thanks for being with me in it.
Thank you so much, Kristi. That was wonderful, both of the readings, and it was great to hear all of the background of the book and of.
Can't hear you.
Oh,
yep.
Okay. Well, hold on one second.
It's taking its time to warm up.
Yeah, it's doing the same. I'm all
before there's no sound.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
If you can hear Annie, say something in the chat, like I can hear Annie, because I can't hear her.
Okay.
Maybe you guys can.
Oh, well, here's someone in the chat. Hey, let us know if you can hear. Oh, they're on a little lag here. Oh.
Can't hear anything.
Okay. Okay, I have people saying in the chat that they can hear.
You can hear Annie?
Can you hear me?
Can you hear Annie? I hope you can hear me because I've just been talking this whole time.
Yes.
Okay, great.
They can hear me.
I can't hear Annie, so that's something funky.
Well, let's do this. I'm just making sure.
See if I can change my. I could hear you before, Annie.
I know. That's very odd that it would cut out like that.
There, everybody. This is a nice chance to take a grateful breath or two.
And get some water.
Okay, good. They can hear both of us. I just can't hear you.
Here.
Let's see. Let's see if I can change something about my settings here. So hold on a second. I could hear you before. Thanks, everybody, for telling us, for writing in chat.
Well,
that's great.
While Kristi is figuring out how to hear me, I will just remind you guys that the book is available at majorsandquinn.com. So if you want to head over there and check it out, that is where you can find it.
I'm so sorry.
Hey.
Perhaps Annie can ask her questions in the chat.
Yes.
Yeah, I can try without my headphones, but I still can't hear anything. So I'm just trying to figure out, it's not letting me change my settings. You know what, Annie, you can, why don't we try this?
Okay.
You want to call me?
Yeah. This is behind the scenes.
Thanks, everybody, for being patient. I have Annie.
Okay. So can you, since you took your headphones off, could you maybe go up to your audio settings and then change the...
Where the audio settings are,
So
the camera,
it's a tiny little setting.
it's not letting me do it while it was letting me do it before, but it's not doing anything now. I've been clicking on it, the little wheel.
Oh, okay. Maybe just refresh your screen.
Okay. Well, we can do it this way because I can hear you.
Okay.
And they can hear you if you ask me the questions. That's creative.
Sure. There might be a lag on my end because I can hear both things, so I don't want to make their... Oh, she's gone. Oh. Okay. Kristi? Oh. Okay. Well, everyone, I'm going to call Kristi again. Don't know where she's gone. Hey! Oh no! Yeah, want to click the link again? No, it was. Aha. So I see that your computer is like ready to join, but it doesn't look like your video is on yet. Oh, okay. Yeah, because I can hear you now from the computer as well. Okay. No worries. Mhm. Yes. Oh, hold on. Well, Saoirse has already pointed out that gratefulness opens us to opportunity, and that the phone call situation was one solution. Okay, Kristi, I think what we're gonna have to do is let's come back for the Q&A at another time. Yeah.
I'm so sorry. No. And now I'm getting a countdown. I mean, this is like something's going on with my camera. With my whole system is completely...
Oh, I'm so sorry. Well, we will figure this out. We will pick a day and we'll do the Q&A on that day. Oh, thank you. And thank you, everyone. We will make sure to let you all know when the Wake Up Grateful Part 2 is coming to the Majors and Quinn Facebook page. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you soon.